What's your bathroom say about you? Don't get left behind. The future is now. Be smart. Be progressive. Get yourself a smart toilet seat or a complete toilet today at one of our 4 authorized hardware stores. General Hardware, Gibson's Building Supplies, Lane's Hardware, or Miners Hardware. For more information, you can call us at 457-1703 or visit our website, justwashit.vc.
WEFM, the new fresh sound.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
All right, so we are back with you for another segment on our Activated Mornings program here on WEFM with Dianna and Roleza, and at this time it's supposed to be with Kingsley as well. So Kingsley DeFreitas, this is your calling card to call us, all right? And there he is. Good morning to you, Kingsley.
Maybe you know I call if I call if I have something doing, so you should expect me to call once I have nothing doing, okay? Everything is okay?
We good, man. We good. What about you?
I'm at the international airport where I fly my trade, so I have to be here every day because if I ain't do it, nobody doing it for me, you know. But it could be a long weekend, so we want to encourage Vincent and to be very mindful of what they have planned for the weekend. And let's see if we could speak to them next week on the issue of not having any homicide or any killings to deal with. I'm just a bit worried sometimes people get carried away with the long weekend and they do things that they ought not to do. Like I see a man, someone Facebook beating his daughter. Well, I hope it's not his daughter. I hope it's somebody who could do beating she with a PVC pipe. I mean, I'll tell you, then this is crazy. But it's like you say, it's another long weekend, and we had, I can't recall that we had any serious incidents so far for the week. So we at least making an effort to try, and I just heard traffic police officers encouraging people to be very mindful and be safe on the weekend. So that's also my team, because like when you're driving people, you can't really function on the issue that you want to speak about. But at least, what you heard anything about Pigeon?
No. We still trying on our end to see what's happening there. So, but we haven't gotten any updates as yet.
Yeah, because I heard somebody call her yesterday and say that they're going to file a missing person report, but I know he's okay because he was on the East Chatham program last week, so it's just that he probably has something personal being hit, so that's probably what you're not making. But it's good to see people paying interest to the issue of the commentaries and morning, because the gentleman did say that he's missing. I want to go far to say I'm missing, but there is a void missing there, and if, as you say, management will probably deal with that anytime it's right, in terms of having somebody replace him if he's not showing any more interest. But I continue to show my interest because I like to do what I'm doing. And I will tell you something. I went in a particular area yesterday, and don't hot up your head and think people listen. People listen to you, because I went in a region and they were saying to me, they listen to WEFM because they try to find the most interesting station in terms of the young people. And I'm encouraging you to continue to let your voice be heard. Just engage your brain before you open them out, so you can be very more careful. And our friends sitting next to you, they should probably get better, rather than people being critical of you when you're not doing what they expect you to do. So just enjoy the rest of the day and take care for yourself. So we can see how that Tuesday, because Monday's a holiday, right?
Yes, Kingsley.
Yeah, so see how that Tuesday bright and early, okay?
All right, cool. No problem. Have a good and a safe weekend, all right?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Alrighty, so that was Kingsley there with his commentary for this morning. Mostly letting us know to be safe this weekend. We've done relatively well for the week so far. Yes, we are approaching a long weekend, and as Kingsley correctly said, sometimes people do get a little bit too excited. All right, especially like on a Friday night, everybody driving off their hand because you're so excited that it's the weekend approaching. All right, so let's all be a little bit careful. We know that there are, South Leeward has its rural carnival happening. So, those taking part in different carnival activities, etc. We all live to see another year too. Yeah? So be mindful of everything that you engage in, whether it is you're driving on the roads or you are taking part in different activities. We're trying to live to a good old age. All right? All right. Alrighty, so let's just quickly head into our topic at this time. And I just want to know person's opinions in a sense on this. So we are going to be talking on the topic of, it was put forward by Minister Camilo Gonsalves that there is consideration being made for some of our streets to be renamed, some of our villages to be renamed. And we are asking the question, renaming of places with colonial origins, should the public have a say? Now, I know that Dianna and myself, we touched on this just a bit before in a commentary with P. John, but it's coming to the forefront again, so we thought that we would address it. All right, so reading from a Searchlight article, what date was this? The 3rd of June. All right, so this week. So the change of names of certain places in St. Vincent and the Grenadines due to their colonial origin has been raised again being raised, right? So speaking on the 25th of May at the African Liberation Day and on the heels of the inaugural National Spiritual Baptist Day holiday on the 21st of May, Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, Camilo Gonsalves, said it is becoming more and more important to change the names of certain places. He spoke on the Issue at Hand program, of course, here on WEFM, said it is annoying to celebrate National Spiritual Baptist Day in a place called Victoria Park, while also having people lift up places with slave master names like Redemption Shops, Murray's Road, and Choppins. He also mentioned Kingstown, Coles Hill, and God Save the Queen Bridge. He said, I think we must have a serious reckoning, and we've discussed it. Everybody says from time to time, we have so many roads and villages named after colonial powers and colonial people. People from colonial times. All right, we could take it and then I'll finish after. All right. Hi, caller. Good morning. Caller, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
Morning, Dave.
I just heard Roleza speaking about this. This suggestion has been on record for generations. Are you aware that some countries, from the time they became independent, they changed their name right away? No time to waste. But then again, maybe I could say they were more conscious of what it means to them, while some of us still cherish and go along with things as normal. Take, for instance, I'm just using St. Lucia's a nearby example. They had a Victoria Park like us. There's so many things. We still have our Victoria Park. Their name in honor of one of their cricketers, Mindu Philip Park, that is known as. Which other example I can use? There have been calypsos. But you see, when some of these guys get into office or power, they couldn't give a damn. So now, they're how much years later that. I can't even listen to them talk there. Because I'm one of those persons, when all of that, before independence, we had people telling us, patriotic people, that we must go back to our name and our original name and all of that. So, anyhow, that's history now. So I just wanted to make that intervention, that these are things that were considered generations ago. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Dave. All right, so I just want to comment on the last part that Dave said. He said it's in the intro and at the end as well, that these are things that were being considered for generations. As if, okay, so yes, persons are always talking about it, but I don't see anything wrong with that. I know Dianna has this thing about more action and less talk.
Oh, yeah.
Right? She generally says more action and less talk, but there is nothing wrong with it being spoken about before, and maybe it might the change could possibly happen within our generation. So there's nothing wrong with that, all right? Because I think if you talk about it in the 70s, you're not going to talk about it in the 80s, you're not going to talk about it in the 90s, and now in the 2000s. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with the continuous talk, but maybe yes, it is probably making a decision to actually go forward, or just, I don't know, maybe keep quiet. I don't know. All right, so let me just finish the ending part of it. So he noted that Choppins, and I'll read it and then I'll say something else after. So he noted that Choppins is named after the slave master that owned the land in that area and who may have owned in quotation marks 185 enslaved Africans. And Coleshill is the same thing. Kittles is the same thing. There are a number of localities around this country that are either named after colonial figures or named after slave masters, Gonsalves said. We can't change the entire geography of the country and all the names immediately, but I'm sitting there in my office last week and learning how we're fixing God Save the Queen Bridge and God Save the King, and it rankles, and this is something we do every day. All right, so are you of the opinion that, number one, that colonial names of places should be done away with? And do you think, as number two, that the public should have a say in this? All right, so as usual, pass it over to Dianna before I give my thoughts.
Okay, so yes, I definitely think that the colonial names should be done away with, and the public should have a say in the process. But of course, whatsoever information you get from the public, you are going to have to make sure that you go through it and make sure you pick out what is. Let's take this call. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
I would like to send out about the greetings.
Right. Okay,
you're live. You're very much live. Go ahead, please.
I would like to send out about the greetings to Jennifer Game, celebrating her birthday today. And all these greetings is coming from her daughter and families and friends, and hope she lives to see many more to come.
Okay. All right. So we're also extending birthday greetings to her as well. Okay?
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So yeah, the public should have a say. Of course, you'll check the information that you can get from the public, but I like when you include the public in things like that. Oh wow. Okay. Hello. Good morning.
Hi, ladies. Good morning.
Good morning. We haven't heard from you in a while. How you do?
I am very good. Thanks for asking.
Okay.
Yes. The topic of our colonial heritage. And that's what the discussion is about, really, when you talk about changing the names of these places. I stand apart and separate from those who are promoting these changes. And it's not because I support colonialism. It's not because I think those who enslaved who brought Africans here and enslaved them, they were correct. I believe that history is history, and what we should be doing is teaching about the history and not trying to change it. I hear they talk about changing Victoria Park to Châtelet Park. We have attempted to create a Châtelet Park for more than a decade now. And we're not getting anywhere with it. We take a whole 8 miles of road and we name it after Mandela. And the name doesn't serve any purposes. It doesn't help us in this modern age. Because you you can't identify anybody who live on Mandela Drive or Mandela Road, whatever it is. I think what we should do is to teach our population and teach those who visit us about the history of these names. And one way of doing it is to have somebody, have a professional, properly interpret these names and their origins and put up billboards so that when you enter them and you have an interest in reading, you can read about these names. We have a building in the Gardens. But the Gardens in itself, the oldest in the Western Hemisphere, since 1765. And yet doing very little to preserve the Gardens. I am happy that I hear the National Park talking about conservation now. But up to now, what they have done is to change that place into a party stand. We have a building in the Gardens, the Curator's House, that was established in 1891, 1892. And we're leaving it there to rot. We need to preserve these things and educate our people and those who visit us how these things come about. We in our area have been constructing all kinds of infrastructure. And what we do, how do we name them? For years now, I've been advocating that entrance to the Adel International Airport in recognition of the engineer, one of our engineers who was local engineer. We should name that area Jeffrey Cato Drive. Why are we not doing that? When we start changing names and we put in the names, somebody is going to come later and say, well, you see that airport? Yes, Ralph was in power when it was built. But I don't like Ralph. Ralph was a wicked man. He did this, that, and the other. And they're going to change it. We should not seek to rewrite history like that. We should be teaching history, not to rewrite it. That's my contribution, really.
All right. Thanks very much, Mr. Weeks. Thanks very much. I was going to say Lansford, but thanks very much, Mr. Weeks.
Thanks.
All right. All right, Dianna.
To finish up,
Mm-hmm.
well, I disagree with some of those things. History, when you start to, not everybody is going to take this journey, but when you start to do investigations for yourself and you start to question, just because somebody told me I must believe this thing, you believe it for your whole life, right? When you start to question it, when you decide, you know what, let me see if I really believe this thing. Let me do my investigations, see where this thing came from and see if I would really believe this thing. You get to find out that some things that you were taught in history were not true. That's why Kojo usually says it's not history, it's their story, because it's the story of those who had the things to write and who were writing at the time. And so they wrote their history according to them from their perspective, right? So I believe in changing that. I believe in telling our own stories. It's not that you're trying to erase history, and I don't have a problem with erasing some people's names out of history. Like, I am not going to teach anybody that this particular European discovered the Caribbean or discovered the Americas or discovered anything, because what you did was, not that to me. So I believe that you can change some of these things and you can take out some of these things. Yes, of course, continue to educate. I always advocate for educating the population. There are some things like in some countries, what they have done is if, for example, there was a statue, let's say they had a statue representing Christopher Columbus, they just moved it from wherever it was and put it in a museum, which I agree with. It's okay to do that. Put it in a museum. And then when people come there, you teach them, well, this was such and such, he did this. And so this is where this monument is. I have no problem with doing that. But you can rename the things, because for me, you're carrying on a legacy that is not yours. You're continuing to talk about the Victoria Park and you're proud of the Victoria Park. But what you don't realize, though in your mind, you may know it's named after a particular person. You keep saying the Victoria Park, everything. We had this at the Victoria Park. This happened in 19 something at the Victoria Park. Whose legacy is that? who is Victoria? You keep carrying on, for me, that person's legacy and their legacy when you continue to mention their names with certain things, when you continue to talk about them with certain things. We don't want that. I don't have a problem with we have a lot of Vincentians that have done some amazing things for the country. And I don't have a problem if you decide to put up certain Vincentians' name or renaming something after certain Vincentians. It is okay when tourists come to say, this was established by the colonizers back in so and so, and it once was called such and such, but we've since changed the name. You can still continue to teach tourists that this is who built this thing for us, this is who gave us this thing, and you can still say it used to be called this, but we've decided to decolonize, and so we've given it a different name. I will stand in support of that continuously until I learn of other things that maybe will make me change my mind. And I do not necessarily agree with the Nelson Mandela Highway name per se, but we could probably go through that another time. Yeah.
All right. So I think this is exactly why I asked if there should be some if the public should have an opinion, because I'm on a different stance with you. Well, I've expressed it before. Mm-hmm. So I'm more inclined to stand with what Mr. Weeks has said, right? Mm-hmm. Our history is our history. Our history is influenced by different things. Your life is influenced by different things that would have happened within your past, right? Mm-hmm. And for me, it is not necessarily to erase the history to start all over, but as Mr. Weeks said, which is what it is I really wanted to point out, was that we need to teach these things, right? It wasn't until that I read this particular article that I understood why the place was named Cold Sail, why the place was named Choppins, etc. Many of us are not taught the information. And to me, it's like, I would like to know what the information is all about and not necessarily do a renaming. They have tried with the renaming of the Leeward Road by naming it Nelson Mandela Highway. Again, as I've said before, only police officers are the only ones I generally hear talking about the Nelson Mandela Highway. The rest of us is just a Leeward Road or on the road to Leeward, right? So this is one of my things, is that we might go about doing all of this renaming, but unless you are going to start with, let's say, the younger generation, the brand new people who coming up and say, well, this is what you are going to refer to it as, we are just going to be calling it by the old names. I am more interested in teaching the history of places than necessarily going on a spree of renaming everything. Because again, as I said, until this article came out, I didn't know anything about there like Choppins, because I literally thought Choppins had a different meaning, right? Not in relation to a former slave owner. Mm-hmm. So to me, the teaching is more important. And I don't feel like we need to start over brand new, because our history is our history. And again, with history is about perspective, right? So yes, we are being taught these things, but it's based on perspective. This is how somebody saw it. Remember one time we had a little discussion where you and Doc went somewhere and both of you had a different opinion of the same thing that you both went to, right? So history is all about from your vantage point, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's true, which is why I always have a question mark over the things that I read about history. All right. So yeah, we over time, but let's say this and we probably end at 8:10. Hi, caller. Good morning. Oh, caller gone. All right. So yeah, those are our thoughts.
I was just trying to see if anybody had anything really. Okay, no.
Yeah. So Dianna and I stand on opposing views with this. Many other persons stand on opposing views with this. So I really do think that there is a need for proper national discussion on it. And even with the names being proposed, I could see also where that too could also lead to another set of, quote unquote drama. All right. All right. Let's take this call. Okay. So Oswald, you have a minute because we're really over time. So a minute, please.
Yeah, no problem. Good morning. How are you guys doing?
We good. What about you?
All right. But listening to you and listening to Dianna, I don't think that you guys are saying different things. And I agree with Dianna in a very strong way, in that the history of our people being colonized and everything should be taught. Someone should write a book, and it should be used in the school so our children know who and who did what and what the case may be. But it is time that we change the all of these names and so forth to individuals who have contributed to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, like Milton Cato, E.T. Joshua, Chatoyer. We got other individuals who make great contribution. So it brings a kind of a pride to our youth. It let them know that we have a heritage that comes from our ancestors, and we can stand firm and say, this is what we are. So it's good to keep the memory, the history, and teach it to our children, and they will know from where they have came, and from where they come. And so I just want to let you guys know that it is a nice program. It's also very important that things are shared. And then let me just say this in reference to the community, or the what do you call it? Any community or anybody of the Vincentian to be part of the discussion and the name change of names or place, names for places or things. I think that that the cabinet, the government, present government, along with the opposition, should sit down and make those decisions. And that is what it should be. I know I don't have much time, but I appreciate the fact that things like this are coming out. So I have to disagree to an extent with Mr. Weeks.
Okay.
All right. Have a good day.
All right. Thanks, Oswald. All right. All righty. So I'm sure there's going to be another occasion where we're going to talk about this. But for right now, anything final you want to say?
Nah, I will just go.
All right. All right. So we are going to head on out at this time. And our time check comes to you with the compliments of New Haven Funeral Home.